Franklin County Board of County Commission 9 session. Commissioner Jones, would you lead us in the prayer and pledge, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Our Father, we thank you today for this day that you've given unto us. God, this day that's special because you made it that way. Help us today as we're gathered here together to discuss and understand and make decisions that are proper and good and honorable, Lord, for today and for the future of Franklin County. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Next on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Masters, second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimous. Next will be payment of the county bill.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimous. Public comment.
My name's George Pruitt. I'm representing the East Point Fire Department today. Sorry, sir. Good morning, commissioners and chairman. I just want to invite you guys to dinner at my house on the 16th of March. It will be our 18th annual East Point Volunteer Fire Department Charity Rib Cook-Off. And we're looking for a real big show this week or this year. Hopefully, if the weather cooperates. I know St. George had a little trouble last weekend. But it's a $1,000 first prize, just for the record. And you know, I'd kind of invite the commissioners. It'd be kind of cool to see some of those guys out there cooking for that big cash prize. But we have, you know, as usual, we're going to have our cook-off. The fire department will be cooking 1,000 pounds of ribs and 40 Boston butts for pulled pork to feed the public with. Entrance is free. Admission is free. As always, we'll have live music all day, and we'll have a liars contest. I have not secured the kiddie rides yet, but we're working on that too. And our silent auction is always kind of interesting too. So you're all welcome to come, and we'd love to see you there. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could
Thank
you
for
tell
the
us how you're
information.
coming along with the FireNet radio, and how's the clarity?
I
of what's
knew
going
one
on?
of you guys was going to bring business into this. And thank you very much. I don't know if they've replaced the original radios yet or not, but what they have in place is working perfectly for us. Now, we did our emergency vehicle operators course at the airport last Saturday, and one of the Appalach guys said they were still having a little trouble. And I said, well, we may need to revisit this. If it's a matter of adding a repeater or something, that's fine. But the paging is as good as it has ever been
Okay.
in East Point.
Okay.
So, you know, I can talk to those guys, and we are getting new digital radios. We're starting to add to that because, you know, I told you we replace our radios due to attrition and age and things like that. Some of our radios are about 20 years old, so we ordered 6 new digitals so that we're going to be set to go for whatever's in place.
So maybe our FCC license has now been renewed, and we've been able to contact the interference area to have more clarity. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, for East Point, I can guarantee that.
Okay.
But now the FCC issue, that you would have to take that up with Liberty Communications because I have no idea.
Okay.
You know, the Sheriff's Department did that for years and years. Miss Pat McWhinney took care of all of that when she was in there, when she was setting up the 911 system.
Okay.
And so we kind of backed out of that area. And,
Okay.
and you know, I had no idea that it had elapsed.
Okay.
So it's a good thing that all this stuff came up because we cured a few problems with that. And I thank you, Commissioner.
Good luck on your cookout.
Thank you, brother. We're gonna do it up. We're gonna do it up. We fired those grills up last night to season them, and I got a crew that's ready to go. Now, they may be a little whipped by Saturday afternoon, but they are ready to go as of this point. So I'm gonna leave this with you, sir.
Please.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Public comments.
Hey, Alan.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alan Pfeiffer, Concerned Citizens, Franklin County. As you may recall, last time I was up here, I was talking about a voluntary effort to clean up 98. And I came in this morning and I was amazed at how well the place had been cleaned up. Michael told me that FDOT jumped on that through county efforts, and I just wanted to give an attaboy to 100% turnaround. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any more public comment? With no more public comments, next on the agenda will be the constitutional officers. Ms. Heather Riley, Ms. Rhonda Skipper, and Mr. Rick Watson.
Take them one at a time, Commissioner, so because all three have different issues. So.
Okay. Oh, I thought.
Good morning.
Good morning. If I may.
Yes, Michael has something to read for you guys.
Erin Griffith from the Finance Office was talking to Heather about this situation. She sent me an email to read today. She, Whitney, and Mark are actually at the FDOT conference this morning.
Okay.
There are two special elections that will have to be held, a Republican primary in April and a general election in June. The cost of the Republican primary is estimated to be about $20,000 and the general is estimated to be about $30,000. There is no cost to the county, as the state is going to reimburse the supervisor for the cost of these two elections. Reimbursements from the state will take 90 days for them to process. Erin's suggestion to Heather is for her to receive an advance of her budget allocation of $50,000, of which we will need a motion for this morning, to cover the cost of the special elections while she awaits reimbursement. The state is paying for the cost of these special elections in full. However, should the reimbursement be slow to come in, the supervisor may need to come back to the board sometime in September for assistance until the funds arrive. So basically what Heather needs this morning is a motion authorizing an early allotment of her amount, and we're hoping that it all works out towards the end of the budget year where she's reimbursed for it and everything is squared. If not, she'll let us know and she'll be back in front of the board.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Masters, second by Commissioner Jones. Any more discussion?
Any questions?
That's what I thought.
That's good.
Thank you, guys.
That's great.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous. Do she need to, do we got anything about that billing with Michael?
Not yet. I think Michael is working with, I'm sorry, Attorney Schuler is working with.
I'm Michael, that's okay, my mama calls me that.
Yeah, I hear Mama, so, he's working with the supervisor and and the landlord, and I've seen emails that they're progressing in their talks and decisions, and
I guess my question was, do she need to stay? Do we got to discuss anything about
Mr.
it?
Chairman, whether she stays or not is completely up to the supervisor of elections, of course, but I had not planned on getting her publicly involved at this point.
Oh, okay.
I've talked privately with the supervisor. She's told me what she's looking for, and I plan on making sure that those goals and objectives that she's informed me of are pursued vigorously.
Okay.
Maybe not successfully, but at least vigorously.
All righty. Next on the agenda then be Ms. Rhonda Skipper.
Mr. Paris left the narrative for me to read for Ms. Skipper, and I'll do so at this time. Ms. Rhonda Skipper, your property appraiser, is in attendance this morning to present to the board the 2019 preliminary estimated tax base. As the board is aware, the Triumph Board has set aside funds to assist Bay, Gulf, Franklin, and Wakulla counties with tax revenues in the event the 2019 tax base is lower than 2018. The Triumph Board had requested applications for tax assistance be submitted by March 20th. So, Mr. Pierce asked Mrs. Skipper to provide the board with her best estimate of where the county's tax base is headed. Mrs. Skipper is required to provide the board a certified tax roll by July 1st. So, this March estimate is very preliminary. Mrs. Skipper will provide the board the details, but essentially, the county will not be submitting a request to Triumph for tax assistance because the tax base for the county, the school board, and the two cities are all estimated to be up slightly from 2018. The tax jurisdiction of East Point Water and Sewer and Dog Island Conservation District are estimated to be down in 2019, but unfortunately, Tramp is not providing tax relief to the special districts. Wakulla County has already reported to Tramp that their estimated tax base is also up for 2019. Once Mrs. Skipper finishes her presentation, the board will need to accept her finding, as the Tramp board would like a letter from the county commission stating whether the county will be applying for tax relief. Since the estimated tax base is up, the board is not eligible to apply. Mr. Pierce will write the letter to Tramp upon his return. Mr. Skipper will provide an explanation of the details of her handout, which the board has in their packets. And I will say, I saw a news story on Channel 7 already claiming they know that we're not submitting one already without even sending our letter. So there.
Okay.
Wow.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Just a little bit of an explanation of the sheet that Alan gave to each of you that I had provided. On the, where it says preliminary assessed and certified assessed, just a correction there, it should say taxable, which is what we're looking at. With the 3% Save Our Homes limitation, or the CPI, whichever's least amount, and this year we've just recently been told it's 1.9%. And with the 10% limitation on non-homestead property, in order for us to have a taxable loss, we would have to lose in excess of $920 million for us to have a taxable loss. So we're nowhere near that. The good news is we haven't lost any of the taxable value. We've actually added some to it because of the 10% and the CPI, the 1.9%. And I was in classes in Tallahassee Monday and Tuesday, going back today as soon as we finish this. But I was told one of our neighboring counties to the west has already reported no taxable value loss. And they had a whole lot more damage than we had. But good news is we haven't lost any of our taxable value. The bad news is that anytime we lose market, it could still eventually catch up with us, but there's a large gap right now protecting us.
We appreciate the information.
Yes, sir. Anybody have any questions?
Well, I just think that's a huge peace of mind.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, publicly speaking, I think the sentiment out there is we were slammed, and it looked that way.
Right.
But I'm just, I'm thrilled to feel that way.
Well, the 10% limits us, and
Yes.
so does the Save Our Homes, as far as what we can add to our tax base every year. But in an instance like this, it has protected us.
That's good.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda will be Mr. Rick Watson, tax collector, USDA broadband grant.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission.
Good morning, Mr. Rick.
I wanted to bring you up to date on several conversations that the property appraiser and I have had, and a solution that I would like to suggest. Rhonda and I have been talking for several months that our software and hardware is very outdated, and we will soon be in a position where we'll need to replace that, which is costly. There's a USDA federal grant that has set aside funds called Reconnect. I think they've got like $620 million to spend before the end of the federal fiscal year. They have contacted us to see if we would be interested. We understand there is no local match available. This program can use match from other sources. In discussions with the school superintendent, with AJ, with Rhonda, with Heather, and briefly with the clerk, Marcia Johnson, we all see a need to increase the broadband capability in the county. I don't know anything about internets and stuff, but they're talking about 5G, you know, the next generation. So I've identified a consultant who will work cost-free, would take her fee out of any awards that are made. But we need to figure out exactly what we need. I've talked to some of the divisions in county government. I'd like to bring the consultant down in a couple of weeks, bring in all the interested parties to see what the broadband needs may be. We would talk to MediaCom and Consolidated as well. It's sort of a public-private partnership. I think it's a great opportunity for us that will benefit not only government, schools, school children, and businesses, but to bring the highest broadband capability that we can get. So all I need now is just permission from you all to talk to your department heads, invite them to a meeting, discuss what their needs may be, and we'll proceed with that. The deadline was supposed to be the end of April, but because of the government shutdown, it's the end of May. So we've got a little bit of time. I totally understand about the problem with the local match. If we can't get funding from other sources, we would proceed. Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Rigg, you think will the hospital or the ambulance be able to?
I'll be happy. I hadn't thought of that, but anybody that they think would benefit from the broadband, we'd be happy to talk to them and include them. I think it'll strengthen any application. One of the things that the sheriff has said is that there are spots in the county where they don't have internet capabilities or wireless. And so from a safety standpoint, I think maybe emergency management, there may be some needs there. But I think we could put together a very powerful package, but we got some legwork to do, and I'll be happy to coordinate it. And that's self-interest, of course, because we need it in the tax collector's office and the property appraiser. So I don't know if any motions required or just direct me to.
Give him permission to coordinate the project and include us.
Yeah.
If the board remembers, those who understand, a couple years ago, I talked to you guys about a Consolidated wanted to do the same thing, but basically, what your tax collectors say, we could do the same thing that Consolidated wanted to do. That time they were Fairpoint still, but almost for free if we can find this match from some other source. So it's been an ongoing discussion. So if the opportunity is there, I would encourage the board to let tax collector coordinate this project and let us move on, at least have discussions.
I got one question here, Mike. It says, under the topic says, are there other requirements? It says grantees must have the legal authority to provide, construct, operate, and maintain the proposed facilities and services. I'll make a motion that staff work with Mr. Watson on this issue, but some of these things need to be considered as what the total cost of the county is gonna be. We're already in a bind with this hurricane, done spent out our reserves and everything else, so we need to know what we're doing when we do it, and what the cost of constructing, operating, and maintaining these proposed facilities and services, what does all that entail? And what is the total cost of these things that goes along with the 15% match that we got to come up with from other sources? So I'll make a motion that staff work with Mr. Watson, but we gotta have the information before we make a final decision on this. And that's my motion.
Second.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, second by Commissioner Jones. Is there any more discussion on that?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
just think of the opportunity in this devastated financial situation that many of our residents have and live with here in this county. This is, I believe, a modern opportunity to bring up-to-date electronics into this county. It's a shot in the arm, I think, economically speaking. And I really believe if we can really work hard with our budget to find out potentially where the room is to work with this, the fact we've been invited by USDA, they came to us and invited us. I think that there are willing partners out there that can probably help us in the matching of this. And I had a conversation with a vendor just recently talking about how people can manage their food stamp issues and other things on an iPhone, even though they have poor resources. Many people have iPhones. And this is just, I think, another tool to give our county a real shot in the arm, and I'm certainly in favor of this.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I know this has been a really, probably before I even got elected, it was a really hot topic, especially for rural communities. I'm like Commissioner Parrish. I would like for us to understand and know for sure what we're getting into, but I do know that from a business standpoint, because I operate a business for somebody, and for the standpoint of Health and Human Services and all other related entities in the county, this is only gonna help Franklin County. It's definitely not gonna hurt us. It is infrastructure just as much as roads are infrastructure. So I applaud you, Mr. Watson, for trying to help coordinate all this. And it might take a while to get all those loose ends together because it's definitely a lot going on. But I would like to also let you know that that's been an ongoing topic of conversation at the Appalachia Regional Planning Council, how they as a planning council could help their counties that they serve. I'm on that board now, so if there's anything you can get from us, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll try to help facilitate that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have several other updates from the tax collector's office, if you'll indulge me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Our tax collections are in line with past years. We billed, in round numbers, $27,500,000. We have collected and dispersed about $22.7 million. It's in line with past years, which is encouraging in view of the storm. We will have delinquent taxes. The sale will be at the end of May, as it always is. This year, I will be implementing the internet sale. In discussions with our consultants, most counties are doing the internet sales. It increases the number of bidders and decreases the interest rate slightly. But I think that'll be another step into the 21st century. Just an update on driver's licenses. I started processing driver's license March 19th of last year. We anticipated that we'd have about 2,500 driver's license transactions. That's not issuance of new licenses or renewals. It also includes processing suspensions, which are a big part of driver's license. As of last Friday, we had processed 2,333 transactions, and so I think that we will meet the 2,500 transactions this year. What that means is that 2,500 transactions had to be handled in other counties besides Franklin County before we started processing it. So that's working well. Concealed weapons, we started in October 26th of 17. We have processed 305 new and renewal licenses. The sheriff has a safety course once a month, and it seems to be a very popular program, and I'm glad to report that I think that's been successful too. Finally, we've just concluded the second year of our Kids Tag Art competition. We had a partnership with the school superintendent and Franklin Education Foundation. You all will remember that it's a competition held with fifth graders throughout the county, Franklin County School, Charter School, Home School, First Baptist School. We had 85 entries this year. We raised sponsorship privately. Small cash prizes were given to the students. 6 classes participated. There was first, second, and third winner in each class, so that was 18 winners. And then from those 18, we chose 3 overall winners, first, second, and third. We've got a reception at the Carabel Public Library tomorrow. Commissioner Bolt is going to be providing lemonade and cookies. And it was interesting, out of the 85 entries, 25 of them came from the Carabel area. So it's been a good program, a popular program. And if you haven't seen the artwork, the 85 entries are on display at the library, and we're real happy with that. we'll wrap it up, and the excess that we've raised will be given back to the schools for the art program. So it's worked out really well. So I don't have anything else. Does anybody have any questions about anything else on the update?
Anybody got anything for?
Just to invite all commissioners to come tomorrow, it's between 4:30 and 5:30 at the Carabel Annex, and I've got extra cookies and lemonade for you guys as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, could
Go
we go
ahead.
back to, I know Alan didn't ask for a motion in his narrative to write that letter to Triumph, but can I get a motion from the board directing him to do that based on the information Rhonda presented today?
Glad that vote. I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Parrish, write the letter to the Triumph.
Second.
You say? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda be the Department Director's Report. Mr. Howard Neighbors, Superintendent of Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
We, I got a couple items, maybe 3 items or so. We had a lot of rain through the weekend, had some flood in certain places, East Point, some in Carabel from pipes being stopped up and scattered debris. We got that taken care of, and got a lot of messy roads throughout the county, which we started working on this morning, so some of them dried out. And we got our signs and stuff in and our posts from the storm that messed stuff up, so we should start, hopefully, if not tomorrow, Monday, replacing all the damaged signs and stuff throughout the county. And it's time for the renewable on the Mack dump trucks that we got, which I've talked to Michael and Miss Aaron about it, so I'm all good with it, but I just need a board's approval on swapping one of our old dump trucks in on it.
Are you satisfied with the new trucks they want to
Aye.
switch it out to?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I know it wasn't the same one you had.
Yeah, they got more horsepower and all, 500 horsepower, they just build a little bit, heavier duty, so
All right,
I think
I'll
we
make a
should be good.
motion to trade it out.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Master,
Second.
second by Commissioner Parrish. Any more discussion?
I just wanted to make sure, Attorney Schuler, this is part of, I believe, what you're gonna be presenting to us with regard to the renewable leases and so on. And is that a piece of what you wanted to talk about?
That is on my report, Commissioner Bolton. I will be happy to answer any question that the commissioners have. I plan on actually dealing with that right now with this motion that was
Okay.
proposed by
So-
Commissioner Massey and seconded by Commissioner Parrish. So unless the board has any questions for me, there are 2 things that the board will be taking action on this morning. The first thing would be to approve the 2019 lease with Leasing 2, provided that Capital Truck Incorporated of Tallahassee first provides to Franklin County a letter of intent to pay off and purchase the 2019 dump trucks after year 1 of the lease. We have already gotten a letter of intent from Capital Truck to pay off the 2018 lease from last year. And then the other thing the board would need to approve in this motion is to approve the trade-in of a 2003 Mack dump truck. The VIN number's in my report, with an agreed value of $25,000. The $5,000 balance of the down payment on the 2019 lease is already in the budget for the road department according to the finance office, so there isn't any action that you need to take on that. Is that how your motion would read, Commissioner Massey?
Yeah,
And your second, Commissioner?
Yes.
Parrish?
you explained it all to me yesterday, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just had a comment, if I
Yes,
may, Mr. Chairman. County government does for people what private industry does not do. And it's often been brought up to me, and as I think of my own personal budget, purchase versus lease, and interest payments and so on in leasing. And as I have talked with county staff, this leasing technique relative to the context of county government gives us, as I understand it, an opportunity to just help our county budget money go further.
That is correct, Commissioner.
From a functional standpoint, I've been able to witness the road department out at our washed out road at Alligator Point, front and center, many early mornings out there, smoothing that road, bringing in material and everything, in ready to go, well-maintained dump trucks that we don't have to have in the shop. And I think that's also part of it. So there's a level of responsibility in county governance that leasing appears to be a good technique. And I would, want to watch care of our budget folks over there to make sure that I'm right on this, but it seems like we have an opportunity to get our county money to go further in this technique.
Any more discussion? All ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Howard.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody got anything for Howard? Keep up the good work.
Yeah,
Thank y'all.
Next on the agenda be Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste Director.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Solid waste, everything is going pretty good. We picking up storing debris still. Instead of piling it out. So if you get in the call, we working hard at it. Actually putting in some overtime, trying to catch up. Animal control is going the same as usual. A lot of complaints about loose dogs, but we're doing the best we can. We have 2 officers. And park and rec. We about got the fields. We started from the west, moving to the east. We're working at Kendrick Park right now, so we are finishing it up. Some little odds and ends. I got a phone call that they want to move Dale Ball to April the 5th. It was first scheduled for the 30th of March, but they want to move it a week behind. The other thing, I guess, would fall under park and rec. I've been getting a lot of calls about debris on the bridges. I contacted Mr. Captain David, Lawn Maintenance, asked him to give us some price on picking up more. And what he sent me was for 20 additional runs for the year will be $12,000. 24 additional runs for the summer months, running April through September, will be $14,400. The calls is coming in like crazy, and we county employees cannot get out there. But I think we need to do something about it.
You got money in your budget, Fonda?
No, sir.
No.
It's an unbudgeted item.
Yeah.
Fonda, if it's okay, I would like to see, and I don't know if we need to make a motion to do this, I would like to present that to the TDC board, since they already help out some, and see if we can help facilitate that, because, I mean, people coming into the county that is tourism related, especially during the summer months we're talking about. If nobody has any problem with that, or if we need to make a motion to do that, or.
I'm gonna ask Linda to help me out, because if I remember correctly, that might be a very good idea, Commissioner, if it's allowed, because originally there was money, FDOT provided to the county that we asked them to provide to us for bridge cleanup, and that wasn't enough.
Correct.
So
That
we
was
got,
$10,000 of FDOT money,
yes.
if I remember correctly.
And then we got TDC to add to that, money at some point.
Also
to do the
correct.
current
I think it
cleanup.
was an additional 12,000 maybe, 13,000. I haven't looked at it in years, so I don't know what it is.
That sounds right? Yeah, so that's where the money came from. It's, as Commissioner Parrish said, it's an unbudgeted item. It was never part of the county budget.
Is your motion to take this to the TDC?
That's
I
what
think
I'm
that's
asking.
what
I
he's
need
saying,
to
and I
make a
was wondering
motion to
if
take
you
it
might
to
know
Work
where
with
the
staff to
funding
see if we
comes
can
from.
come up with some money somewhere.
See, they could provide additional money.
Right,
I'll second that motion.
okay.
I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Parrish. Discussion. Hey, look, where's it coming from? All this extra?
Coming out of the back of pickup truck. I imagine.
And we charge them there at the landfill a $10 tarp fee if they come in with it on tarp.
Oh, really? Didn't know that.
But I think, we had a bag of garbage here on the bridge here. Yeah. Right before the rain, once rain hit it, it just goes everywhere in. I actually had to have our crew to get out and get it, which is dangerous, but anyway.
There's some people hauling garbage, like you said, Fonda, on the side and putting it in the back of pickup trucks and haul landfill is blowing out.
Right, yeah.
Well, maybe, I guess, until we get to the TDC and see what they can provide, maybe we should talk to the sheriff department or have them to write a few tickets there. And that'll stop some of it too, cut down some. Okay, y'all ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That pass unanimous.
Okay, that's about all I have this morning.
I got something for Mr. Davis.
Go ahead.
Find I was, I'm keeping track of what Bay County's doing over there, and their trucks are making their last pass of picking up debris on the 15th, I believe. But they allow the, public, if they bring the stuff to the landfill, that they waive the tipping fees on some of the storm debris. My point being is, as we get into grass cutting mode and taking care of the shoulders of the road, what is your opinion if the board looked at something like that to waive the tipping fees on the storm debris rather than putting it on the side of the road if they'll bring it to the landfill? We gotta do something because you're not gonna be able to keep the sides of the roads mowed or anything else. We pick it up, they dump out some more. We pick it up, they dump out some more. And as we talked about this when we let our trucks go, as they made their last pass, it's gonna go on for years. There's a lot of down trees in people's yards that they're just not getting around to where they can get out there and take care of it. But, you know, if we keep dumping it on the side of the road and you have to keep going and getting it, and the road department can't cut the grass and all this, you know, it's thrown in the ditch, you can't weed eat the ditch. I mean, could you come back to us at the next board meeting with a recommendation of what you think about that idea and if it will work for Franklin County for a period of whatever you think,
Okay.
to allow people to bring stuff to the landfill rather than throw it on the side of the road?
Right.
And it would help them get rid of the debris too, I mean, in my opinion, but I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that, but if we don't stop putting it on the side of the road, we're gonna have trouble cutting the grass and keeping the ditches weed eated, and you're gonna get complaints about that. But we need to try to help the people too, because there is still a lot of debris in people's yards, but if they could bring it to the landfill, it would help us in a couple of different ways. Would you bring us back a recommendation
I
there?
will. Commissioner, with that being said, also, I had a couple of calls, a couple of visits with contract that's helping people in the same case here, that they was wanting me to reduce the tipping fee for, you know, yard trash, a tree that was blown over, and that now they're being able to get there and get it removed, but they having to have contractors to do it. So contractor was asking, could we maybe cut the tipping fee in half?
Come back to us with a proposal, because these landowners that are now having to clean up their own land, that adds a lot to them being able to hire a contractor to get it off of the property.
Right.
But a lot of people, if they don't wanna pay tipping fees, they have the contractors throw it on the side of the road.
Exactly.
So it's an issue all the way around. I'm just asking you to look at it, see what you think is best for the county as well as the public, and if there's something that we can do to try to, you know, and limit it to a certain, can't go on forever.
You're right.
But, you know, if you wanna give them, just bring that suggestion back to the board,
Yeah,
the
it
recommendation.
would help us also, cause you know, it's running our trucks and men.
Yeah.
It would help.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, Mr. Chairman, Fonda, how did, also I'd like for you to bring back, how did things go? I'm pretty sure I remember last year, we as a board, pretty much waived all tipping fees for yard debris
Yes,
up
sir.
to the end of the year, kinda got lost in all the storm stuff. And I wanna know if that actually helped relieve pressure like we thought it would too it was the same kind of thing, but it was pre-storm, where if it was yard debris, instead of putting it side of the road, you could bring it to the landfill and there wasn't a tipping fee. Since we're paying to pick it up anyway.
Right.
I'd also like to hear information on that as well.
Okay.
I tell you what else I'm seeing, as you go down 98, it's getting a lot of debris on the side of the road too. So it's, you know, it's not all the way, but it's spotting out. And some of it is big stuff. So,
And also, if, Mr. Chairman, if you look at west of Lanark Village, there's a huge amount of debris still around, spotty. Yes, it's gone over into private property. The state has not picked that up because I believe it is private property and they want to avoid trespassing issues. And wondering if we, you know, this is a great idea, if we can even solicit private property owners to know that this opportunity for them to clear their land is now available on behalf of the county for a no-charge tipping for particularly west of Lanark,
Right.
between Lanark and Carabel.
Right. Yeah, just got a call about that
Did
yesterday.
you?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, I did.
Yeah.
While you at it, ask them people who over that highway system, what they,
Yeah.
we don't supposed to keep that clean, what their name, oh,
Yeah, that's correct, for real.
okay, Chit, ask them what, if they gonna do anything about this,
Okay.
some of this debris. I know somewhere in my district, from, on the, not on, it's not private, it's just on the side of the highway, on the side of 98. So I don't know whether they gonna make a run through it or what, but,
Okay.
check it out for me, please.
Will do.
Any more, is we got a vote on?
No, I was just asking him to do it.
Okay,
I don't think he's agreed to do it, so we don't need a
And,
motion on that, right? We don't need a motion directing you to do what I asked.
Oh, no.
anybody got anything else for Mr. Davis? Keep up the good work.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll get you a copy.
Next on the agenda will be Miss Pam Bernal. I think she got an assistant
Yes, good morning,
standing
Commissioners.
in for today.
Yes, she has some doctor's appointments this morning. So we've got a couple things on our action items. One is to request
Let
the
me,
board.
excuse me, let me get your name for the record.
Tress Dameron.
Okay.
It's okay. So the first action item I have on the board is the request for board approval to pay the following invoices for the Garter Golf and Tetra Tech. Pam did some research with the neighboring counties that was having some issues with the debris pickup. The day the FDOT said that they will assume all expenses for debris pickup is the 18th of October. The two invoices that we have there are the ones prior to the 18th, and that's what we're asking. Now, within our protective measures, we will get 100% of that back, so.
Good.
But we have to pay it in order to get it back, so we're working on those projects.
How much money?
One is $86,491. That's for Crowder Golf to do the debris. And the other one is Tetra Tech, which is our debris monitors that ensure that everything that the debris handlers was actually picking up that is FEMA reimbursable.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Mass. Any more discussion? Is that on, that was on that first date?
Yes, that was from the, I think we had ours from like the 15th through the 18th. Those were those small amount of days, so.
Okay. That's all of them need to be going?
Mhm.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passed unanimous.
And my second action item is we received late, it was in the first, our board report, it came in on Monday afternoon, was the agreement between the federal, state, and Franklin County for Hurricane Michael. We need to have that agreement signed in order to get reimbursed back for any of our Hurricane Michael expenses. And so we're asking you that you approve and sign it pending review from county council or the county attorney to review.
Pledge of the board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Mass. Any more discussion on that? All in favor? All opposed? That passed unanimous.
And just one more information item that Pam asked me to bring up in front of y'all. We're researching new software that will help us in the case of a disaster. The software is designed to actually help alleviate some of this back payroll and time that county employees are using. So as the disaster and damage assessment is being conducted, as well as being when you start a response and actually recovery, that will actually real-time data put it in and actually put it into our WebEOC is what we do for our mission statements. It also does captures our 214s, which is the forms that we need for FEMA to reimburse all our personnel, all our time, all our overtime. and it'll help, instead of our department heads having to go back and input all that information, it'll actually do it as they're doing their damage assessment. We're looking at this software right now. We would like to test it because there's like a 30-day trial. So we are just putting that out there, that if we do decide to go with the software, we just need to kind of get the board approval to encourage our department heads to actually use the software, because it's useless if we don't actually use it. So it'll help, like when the road department does their damage assessment on the roads, they can real time it, and everything is actually put into one system, and it's actually, the PWs will be written like almost instantaneously.
So you want,
Just an information item, just to kind of let y'all know that that's on the table. We're looking at some better ways to improve and enhance our technology for the county and making sure we're more efficient.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, can you get a trial version of that to try it out?
Yeah, so they do have a 30-day trial before we purchase it. And we do a hurricane exercise every year in May, so that's actually when, and we're actually going to real time do it, actually have some of the road department get with those department heads and actually utilize the software to make sure it's something that we can actually benefit from.
I get, with this software here, will that be something connected to like what Rick was talking about?
Well, it would definitely help, because you have to have the actual internet to be able to probably utilize the software appropriately. So yes, it definitely would.
And it can be used on anything, smartphones, anything.
Yeah.
The mobile devices, and then we get,
And it's unlimited users, so it doesn't matter how many people. Yeah.
so they can do it from on the road. It's pretty much how Gary does inspections
Right.
now with his iPad.
Do the same thing.
It's just a click, and it actually shows exactly where. The also other benefit is after Hurricane Michael, we had a lot of our citizens calling in and saying, "Hey, I have my house damaged." It actually gives a app part of it where they can go in and they can self-report, so that all that damages is actually captured real time, and we have accurate data. So
That helps our office tremendously.
yes,
They can download it themselves.
they can actually input it at all. So,
Okay.
and that's all I have this morning.
What, this thing here that we voted on this morning, it was what, that was part of what we had got found extra to get straight last time?
Yes, the invoices, yes. Yeah. So she's did some research on it, and all of them are going to assume on the 18th of October from all the neighboring counties. So since we moved forward with our debris, that's why we have this is why we have that invoice. But it is 100% reimbursable because it is it's part of our protective measures.
So we won't lose no money. That's good. Thank you.
We just have to pay it to get it reimbursed.
Okay. Anybody got anything else for emergency management? Ms. Tripp? All right, y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda will be Mr. Eric Lovestring, Extension Office Director.
Good morning, Commissioners. I don't have anything in addition to my written report, but we do have a bid opening that's on the agenda at 10, or it's following Mr. Solomon's report, I think. And it is related to the Extension Office renovation project, so we're moving forward one step at a time with that.
Okay.
So I'm going to hang around for that bid opening.
All right. Anybody got anything else? Anybody got anything from Mr. Eric? Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait on him, long way. Let's take a break.